How we doing, guys? And we are back in Premier League action. Everton against Arsenal. And I'll tell you something, I'm a little worried about this game. So, of course, we are back in Premier League action after the FA Cup matches last weekend. And a game that looked on paper a couple of weeks ago to be an easy 3 points, in my opinion, could well be a very difficult game now. Everton away at Goodison Park. Not the easiest of places to go to at the best of times. We haven't had the greatest of records going there. But a couple of weeks ago, I looked at this fixture and I thought, no issues at all. Easy 3 points. You look at Everton in the league table, second bottom. Only won 3 games all season. Frank Lampard having an absolute torrid time. And I'm thinking, easy. Lovely. But they're going to change their manager. Now, I'm not looking at it and thinking they've brought in a manager that's amazing and going to change things instantly or anything else. It's that whole new manager bounce. It's that whole feeling of the new, era around the club, shall we say. Sean Dyche has come in. Now, we know about his sides. We know about Burnley. We know what they're capable of doing. We actually had a decent enough record against Burnley, but we know the way that they play. I think if this game was at the Emirates, I look at it and I say it doesn't matter if it's a new manager. We've got home advantage. We'll absolutely steamroll them. But because it's at Goodison Park, and despite, their problems this season, the one thing about Goodison Park is when the fans get behind, the players and the manager, it's a difficult place to play. It's, an old school ground, shall we say, where, it can become a bit hostile. Now, in recent weeks, before the change, that was not a great place to play for Everton. It was a very easy place to play for visiting teams. And such was the hostility of the Everton fans towards what was going on the pitch. It became very easy to win there. But you're looking at this, and I don't see the Everton fans being hostile towards their own players and the manager. I see them, being extra motivated for this because they've got a new man in and they're going to be 100% behind him. And that's where it can become a little difficult. Now, the players, they're still the same players. How much will they have learned in the last week? I believe that Dyche was appointed on Monday, would have been involved in training by Tuesday. So will he really have been able to implement some of the stuff that he would have wanted to do? There's been multiple videos doing the rounds of, his training methods and regimes and little bits and pieces that he's brought in to try and, change the easier lifestyle that some of them, may have been accustomed to. I see that they were doing a bleep test, which is very strange given that it's January. But the fact is he's, a new manager and he's like, right, let's have a look at their fitness. Let's see who's got good fitness and let's see who's slacking. So I get it in some sense. I'm hoping that he's really pushed them that much that they're going to be knackered come Saturday's game. But yeah, that's the reason why I'm a little wary of this game, because of that new manager syndrome. The way that we're playing this season, the way that we're, dominating games, I think it's one of those, if you weather those first 10 minutes where they will be, out of the traps and doing everything the manager asks. And I think if we play that way that we normally do and we strangle them and we look to, dominate, then it doesn't really matter whether Sean Dyche is there and the fans are behind them. They won't be able to stop that. And I think they'll look at this game as well and say it's a bit of a free hit in some respects. It's a, baptism of fire for Sean Dyche playing against the side top of the Premier League. But listen, at the end of the day, you just got to be careful. That is my only concern. You just got to be a little careful. So with that said, let's go and get into the starting 11. Starting off in goal, Aaron Ramsdale. Very, very straightforward decision for me. Going to move in defence. On the right-hand side, I'm going to go with Ben White. Comes back in ahead of Tomiyasu. Last time out in the Premier League, he did not have a good first 45 against Manchester United, but he's had a bit of a break since then, was not involved in the FA Cup game against Manchester City, and I would start him. On the right-hand side of that centre-back, William Saliba. Again, very, very straightforward decision for me, and he hasn't got the 5 yellow cards hanging over him anymore. So he can go out, be free and play his game. Left centre-back, Gabriel, another player that's free from that 5th yellow card. And he's been exceptional this season, before the World Cup, after the World Cup. And I think his performances have kind of been going under the radar. So, yeah, very straightforward decision. Left-back position, Zinchenko. Only got a few minutes against Manchester City, was brought out for Tierney. It's the Premier League, and he starts all day long. Centre of the midfield, first of all, Thomas Partey. Now, there was some concern as to what's going on with his injury. Came off at half-time against Man City. From what I'm hearing, it's absolutely fine. And if you look very closely in the training pictures, despite Arsenal trying their hardest to make sure that he's not noticeable, you can actually see him. I have no doubt at all that Thomas Partey plays. Alongside him, Granit Xhaka. Again, another very straightforward decision for me. Him and Partey, superb. It's as simple as that. On the right of the three, Bukayo Saka. And I thought against Man City, very, very quiet game. Very quiet. But look, if you were to analyse 5 games of Saka, you would say 4 are good, 1 was quiet. It's not bad, is it? We've gone from players that were performing once out of 5 and having 4 bad ones. So that's what we need, the consistency. And he'll have to be up for this game and, playing to the way we know he can. In the middle of that 3, Martin Odegaard. Listen, if he's playing to the maximum and he's orchestrating everything, then there's not many teams that are going to be able to stop us. And it's as simple as that. On the left of the 3, I'm actually going to go with Trossard for this. I was really impressed with his performance against Manchester City. Martinelli just signed a new contract, which is fantastic news. When he came on against Man City as well, I thought he was really good. And maybe that little bit of competition for places will do him good moving forward. But I would, for this game, go with Trossard. I think he deserves a start. I was really impressed, like I said, with his performance in the FA Cup. So that's what I would go with. Up front, as the main striker, Eddie Nketiah. Didn't really get the service against Man City. Worked great, cannot question it. But, of late, he's been performing and he's scoring goals. That's the most important thing. So Jesus is not going to be far away now. Very close, in fact. So Eddie's going to have to keep scoring those goals if he wants to keep his place in the side. That's for sure. So listen, there we go. That is it for my preview and my predicted lineup. Let me know in the comment section whether you agree or disagree with that lineup. If you do disagree, let me know what personnel you would change. Listen, as always, it's a big weekend. It's another opportunity. We'll be playing before Manchester City as well. And they've not got an easy game. They're going to be going away to Spurs. And that might not be an easy game for them. So before they kick off, let's put on that pressure. Let's go 8 points clear. And then we can then leave it to them and say, over to you. And of course, when they do play that game, if they lose, for example, they would have played a game more. And we do have Man City in a couple of weeks as well. So I'm looking forward to it. It's getting to that time of the season when it's squeaky bum time. So, yeah, listen, if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. And I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.